Let's talk about it. Don't you wanna talk about it? Let's talk about it. Don't you wanna talk about it? Let's talk about it. Don't you wanna talk about it? Let's talk about it. Don't you wanna talk about it? Let's talk about it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fill Up Friday Live. It is Friday. It is 8:04 p.m. and we made it. If you are catching the replay, then thank you so much for doing so. Please be sure to comment, as we will go back and we'll engage with you. So we thank you for watching the replay. If you are watching us live, thank you so much for spending some time with us on a Friday night. And welcome to Fill Up Friday Live. Make sure that you like this post video, that you share it. We want to make sure that everyone is filling up on this beautiful Friday. If you're here and you're watching live, please let us know where you're watching from. If this is the first time that you are watching, we are so happy to have you. So on behalf of myself and the Fill Up Friday faithfuls, welcome. Hey, Latoya, you still watching? I did not expect for you to be watching tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you are safe. I made it safe to Trinidad and Tobago. So listen, you all, if you're new to JSpirations Live and Fill Up Friday, what is JSpirations Live? So JSpirations Live is not just a podcast. It is a motivational movement. It is a place where we have real conversation. We talk about real things, and we talk about those things with real people. No topic is off limits. We want to make sure that we're motivating and that we are encouraging. It's a place to come together to sow into each other's lives so that we can be well, mind, body, spirit, and soul. So then you also may be asking, well, what's Fill Up Friday? Well, Friday is the time where we come together to do just that, right? Sometimes we've had a hard week. We've had a week where maybe we've been sowing into everyone else, and so we feel empty. Maybe we've experienced some drama, some trauma, whatever may be happening in your life. But on Fill Up Friday, we come together to speak life into each other, right? So that's what we do. And then our Fill Up Friday faithfuls, they are our viewers who come on every Friday night. We come together as a family, and so they are our faithfuls. And so we are so thankful for our faithfuls. We're excited about our faithfuls. And Latoya commented that she's watching from Trinidad and Tobago, and she is one of our faithfuls. So I want to give our faithfuls some time to come on before we get into the discussion. You guys, my tongue is all twisted tonight. But to give us some time to get into our discussion, there's so many amazing things that we are going to be talking about. So it may not just be one topic, but it's going to be something that's going to fill your soul, something that's going to encourage you, something that's going to motivate you. So go ahead and begin to drop into the comments, if you will, what you filled up on this week. And if for some reason you didn't fill up on anything and you're coming on empty, let us know what you need. I guarantee you that there is someone, maybe myself or maybe some of the faithfuls who are watching, that will be able to sow into your life tonight. So go ahead and start to drop into the comments before we get started. As always, just know that this conversation is for motivational and encouragement only. Please seek professional support if you feel like you need it. And if you're not sure if you need it, then you can message me in Messenger, share some information, and I will help you to find resources so that we can make sure that you are healthy and that you are well. It is okay not to be okay, right? And when we know that we are not okay, we want to make sure that we're able to connect with the proper people to get the help and the support that we need. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with our topic for tonight. So you guys, I did not post this week, like really post, excuse me, this week for me has been a little, I don't know, a little traumatic, a little bit. Like I've been feeling depleted a lot. Um, and so I'm thankful that people know that the motivator needs encouragement and needs motivation. And God has really been sending people into my life this week to sow into me, to encourage me, and to support me. So I'm so thankful for the people who He has sent to me. So honestly, I've had some thoughts this week, but I haven't really sharing them. I've kind of just been really sitting in my thoughts this week. But if you were following at all this week, then you know that on Wednesday, I posted that yesterday was a day. I went to bed feeling depleted, woke up this morning singing this song. It's amazing what God can do. And I encouraged you all to have an amazing Wednesday. So the song that I was singing when I woke up on Wednesday morning after having a Tuesday that was just not, hey, Paula, after having a Tuesday that wasn't so pleasant, God, I woke up with the song Speak to My Heart by Donnie McClurkin in my heart. And I just woke up singing it. You know, I got up, I sat on the side. Hey, Auntie. I got up, I sat on the side of the bed. You know, I told God, thank you. Just thank you for waking me up. And He just dropped this song into my spirit. So it's the song, Speak to My Heart, Holy Spirit, give me the words that will bring new life, words on the wings of the morning. The dark days will fade away. Speak to my heart. And He gave me that song. And when I got up off the side of the bed, I had so much peace. Wednesday was a day for me that I wasn't quite sure how it was going to be, how I was going to feel, just because of some memories that had came up, just because of some things that was happening. But I began to sing that song, and it really just rang in my heart and rang in my mind. And it gave me the peace that I needed. And so that's why I'm always encouraging you all to keep a song in your heart, right? Keep a scripture in your heart so that when things happen, right, when things go on, you can begin to minister to yourself. And so then later on that day, I was with my coworker, and at the end of our work day, she gave me some flowers and she gave me a card because she said that she wanted me to smile because she knew what I was experiencing on that day. And again, I just started thanking God, because as the motivator, sometimes there's not anyone to motivate me. So I was just thanking God for just sending people in my life. Wasn't even expecting it, right? I wasn't walking in any expectation that anyone would do anything for me or say anything to me. But I'm encouraging you to always walk into expectation, right? Because God's always going to do it. He's always going to send what and who you need, even when you don't know that you need it. And so throughout the rest of the week, I was just like, I still kind of felt a little depleted and really didn't have much that I wanted to post in reference to my thoughts, because my thoughts had kind of been so deep this week, right? And really so personal. I was like, I don't want to share that. I don't want to damper the mood on my page or what have you. And I just needed to be sown into. So tonight we're going to talk about a couple things that's going to bring this all together. So on yesterday, one of my sister's friends actually posted something, and when I read it, it really spoke to me. And I asked her if I could share it on the page, and she said absolutely. So if you go back to the post from yesterday, there is a picture of a flower. And so I'm going to read it. It's a little long, but in order to understand it all, I need to read it. So her name is Shadana Thompson Esdale. I hope I'm saying her last name correctly, but she wrote, I almost threw this out a few months ago because it was just the green leaves. I decided to keep it for a little while since they were still looking pretty and healthy, although disappointed that the orchards were gone and not blooming. So there's a picture of an orchard that she shared. Completely forgetting about it, last week I looked at it and saw a stem with buds, and this morning I noticed it had bloomed. There are 9 more buds. It has been years since there was any sort of flower, just the green. So then she said, spiritual lesson. You knew this was coming. Sometimes life may appear stagnant and one may feel stuck. It may seem as though there's no growth happening. Then one day you look up and you are no longer in the state you once appeared to be because God has been working on you at the core. You couldn't see it. Others definitely couldn't see it. And then the time came and you started to bloom. Sometimes we may need a different environment to simply be left alone with the creator and beautiful things come to surface. Keep trusting God even when you can't trace him in your life. And even when, well, especially when others write you out or write you off, be encouraged. That touched me because I'm always the person that's posting some type of motivation, right? Whether it's on my personal page or whether it's on my podcast page. But this week I felt depleted and I really didn't have anything that I felt that I needed to share or that I could share. But God sent Shadana to post this picture of an orchard and to really make me think about what it really means. Sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes we are stagnant, right? And we don't think that we're able to do anything, that nothing is going to bloom, that we are not going to move. But what Shadana said and what I believe in my heart is that when we get to that point, when we're at that space, that God is working on us from the core. When we decide that we're going to take our hands off of something, when we decide that we are going to bow down to the one and only King, because that's the only person who can help us, and we take our hands off of it, it gives God the opportunity to work on us, right? To strengthen us, to clean us out, to make us brand new so that we're healthy, right? And we're well, and then we're able to bloom again. So I just started thinking about it over and over and over again. And the more I read it, and even tonight, reading it right before we got started, I started thinking, man, like God, lots of times, like this week, I felt like I was depleted. And that even though some people were watering me, I still just felt like everything was just running right out, right? That nothing was staying, that there wasn't any substance that I was keeping. But then this reminds me that when we get to that place, what happens is we're releasing ourselves and we're taking that responsibility that we think we have. We're taking that control that we think that we have, and we're just relaxing and we're letting it go so that God can do what he needs to do in our lives, right? So that things can work out for our good, and then it's going to work out for his glory. And so then today, one of my girlfriends who I hadn't spoken to in a while, I got a text from her and she sent me an accomplishment, right, that she has. And I said, oh my goodness, I'm so excited for you. You know, this is amazing because I love to celebrate other people and especially celebrating my sisters. We grew up together. This is one of my friends and she's doing amazing things. She's doing amazing work. But both of us have often shared and talked about how oftentimes we feel broken, right? We're both motivators. We're both encouragers. We've both had, you know, radio shows, just all these different things. And so when she was sharing her accomplishments, I was saying, I'm so proud of you, you know, all the things that you're doing. And pretty much like, look how far God has brought you. It's so amazing. And then we started to have a conversation about how some people didn't want her to you know, possibly do what she's doing or get to where she is, because sometimes we think we have these haters, right? And as I started to, you know, we started to converse back and forth, what I said to her is, it's birthed, so all it can do is grow. And that was for her, but it was also for me. And then it's for you as well. If regardless of what's going on, and it ties right back in to what Shadana was talking about with this orchard, right? It is a plant. It's designed to grow, right? It's designed to bloom. And so Shadana saw this plant, and all she saw was just the green leaves, right? She wanted to throw it out because she didn't think that it was purposeful. She didn't think that it was going to bloom. She didn't think that there was any life in it. But when she took her hands off of it, right? Because maybe she was thinking, I can't keep this plant alive, right? It's just green leaves. It's not producing anything. But just when she took her hands off of it, right? And she moved on and she forgot about it, right? God did what God does. She looked up and it was blooming. And not only was it blooming, but then there were 9 more buds, right? There are 9 more buds that's on that orchard that's waiting to bloom, right? God's letting her know you're good ground, right? You're a good seed. You're going to bloom. And so that's what he was reminding me about today, that even though there's times in life where things don't look like I want it to look like, there's times in life where things don't look like you want it to look like, that you think that whatever the situation is, that it's just dead and it's not going to work. But I'm encouraging you tonight to just take your hands off of it. Give it completely over to God and let him do what he does, right? And he is going to show you that there is life in you. He's going to show you that there is life in your situations, right? That there's life in your environment. And not only is he just going to show you by letting something bloom, but then he's going to show you that there are more buds, that that's just not where you stop, that it's not the end. And so I told her, and it encouraged her and it encouraged me, and I hope that it encourages you, that it's birth, right? God has already given you the opportunity. He's already let you birth it. So once he's given you the authority to birth it, all that can happen is growth. And it may not happen like this, right? Like we want it to happen. But please believe that there are buds. It may be 2 buds, it may be 3 buds, it may be 1 bud. But Shadana said that her orchard, that it had 9 more buds. And so that there's always going to be growth. There's always going to be plenty. Whatever he has given you, whatever he has allowed you to birth, please believe there is nothing else for it to do but grow. That's it. That's the conversation. That's the discussion. Even this week, I have been thinking about JSpire's live and thinking about how I haven't had a lot of guests come on. And this week, he actually, even in the midst of me feeling depleted, even in the midst of me feeling empty, he allowed me to connect with someone. And we talked about the show, right? And guess what? We have a new guest, you guys, and they're going to be coming on in the next month or so. Because what happened, I started feeling like God, I'm not sure who to have on. I don't know what to do. But I just said, at first I was just like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do it this way. Maybe I'm only supposed to do it Fill Up Friday. But God says, no, there's more, right? There are buds on this branch. There are buds on this flower. In the case of what Shadana said, there's buds on this orchard, right? So he's giving me JSpirations Live. He's giving you businesses. He's giving you ideas. If he allows you to birth it, then there is nothing else left to do. It has to grow. It has to grow. So keep that in your heart tonight, family. Keep that in your mind. It has to grow. Anticipate the buds, right? Take your hands off of it. Stop trying to overwater it, underwater it, give it all this different dirt. Listen, just know that it's going to grow. It's designed to grow. It has to grow. Because if God allowed you to birth it, he gave it to you, there's nothing left but growth. So I encourage you tonight to know that growth is coming. In fact, it's already happening because like Shadana said in her post, he is working on whatever it is at the core, right? Because the core has to be strong, right? Hey, Auntie, the core has to be strong, right? When you're working out, not that I do it like I should, but when you're working out, they're talking about strengthening your core. When children are in infancy, and then they begin to walk, and maybe sometimes they have some concerns and they're not walking quite yet, that physical therapist talks to mom and dad or whoever the caregiver is about strengthening the core, because the core has to be strengthened in order to have that movement, right? In order to stay steady, in order to stay on your feet, in order to be able to pick up those weights. And in life, weight is going to come. Things are going to happen. There will be situations, but God wants to strengthen your core. You've already birthed it, right? And sometimes when we birth something, yeah, sometimes it does take a little bit of strength away, right? Sometimes you're a little tired, right? Sometimes your body has to recoup, right? And so there's different exercises and different things that they tell you to do, right? To strengthen that core. And sometimes strengthening the core, sometimes getting that foundation, sometimes it requires rest, right? So listen, allow God to strengthen your core. Anticipate the buds, right? There's more buds. You're gonna right now you see those green leaves and you think that nothing's going to bloom. But she also said, I almost threw this out a few months ago because it was just green leaves. But the leaves were green. And that means there's life. The greens were not brown, right? You know, sometimes you have the leaves there. They're a little bit of green, there's a little bit of brown, they're cracked. But no, she said they were just green leaves. But that means that there was life in that plant. And so she couldn't throw it away. There's life in you. So that's what I want you guys to know tonight. That's what I want you to keep in your heart. That's what I want you to keep in your mind. So if you came tonight and you were on empty, I hope that you are leaving full. And I hope that you're leaving understanding that because God has given you the opportunity, He has allowed you to birth it, that there is nothing else to do except for grow. I love you guys. I want you to take some time to practice some self-care this weekend. Take some time for yourself. Take care of yourself. Sow into yourself. Share a smile with someone and sow into them. And as always, JSpire and be JSpire. I love you all and enjoy the rest of your weekend.